What's up, baby?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, we just got back from our walk,
Yeah,
which was cool.
kind of like our ritual these days.
Yeah, and it's so nice outside, so
Gorgeous,
it was
actually.
beautiful to walk.
Yeah, I enjoy that time with you.
Yeah.
It's always dope knowing that we get to have these little moments where we could just be together, and the fact, granted, you have to do yours anyway, but we could just have those little 45-minute walks, every day and just literally just be.
I think it's dope that you choose to join me because you could just be like, nah, I got other stuff I can do. Like, that's your thing. You're the one that's working on bodybuilding. That's you. You got to do extra cardio. But you're like, no, like, I want to accompany you on your walk. And I think that's dope. Being very supportive of me.
Yeah, and I value our time together.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the few moments where I can have quite literally like uninterrupted time with you.
Yeah.
So it's just us walking, being together, literally catching up on the day, the week, things that we've learned, experiences, whatever. Like it's a good time to really bond. Like a solid 45 minutes of us every single day that we get to share. And it's been valuable.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that we also in our walks, like we learn a lot about each other, and get to share epiphanies or different things that we've had throughout the day.
Yeah.
So it's literally one of my favorite things that we do these days.
Yeah, I think what I'm interested in right now is this book you said you're reading.
Yeah.
And I'm so ready for you to hurry up and be done with it so I can read it. 'Cause
I'm literally
you keep hyping it up and I'm like, can you hurry up?
Right. But yeah, so the book I'm reading right now, for everybody who wants to check it out, maybe not, who knows? It's called The Mountain Is You. I think it came out in 2022, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, but it's like Brianna Wiest, I think is what it is.
Okay.
But it's so dope because I feel like it's such an on-time book right now. Specifically because the book itself is about overcoming self-sabotage.
Okay.
And it's about overcoming self-sabotage and the ways that we do that. And it goes a lot into emotional intelligence, overcoming trauma. It also talks about, basically getting out of our own way and the ways that we fall into these different mental traps and the things that we try to convince ourselves of, and how we also like to go against our own human nature, and how sometimes the things we're actively trying to avoid, those ways of being are actually beneficial to us, but we use them incorrectly. And so it's dope. Like, for example, like stress, for example, we need stress.
Right.
But a lot of the times we look at stress as being this negative thing, but it's because something needs to change. And that's our body naturally reacting quite literally to tell us that something needs to change, something needs to be done. Granted, there can also be periods of time where that's not the most beneficial thing, but a lot of the times we have these negative relationships with the way our bodies respond to certain emotions, thoughts, feelings, or all of these things. But our bodies have automated ways of responding that do serve us, but we use them incorrectly. And a lot of the times we associate those reactions, we associate them like with negative things.
Okay.
But they're there to actually help us and to give us indicators of something needing to change or something needing to be different, or giving us opportunities to grow and to become better, to be more resilient, all of these different things. And so it really gives you like a full spectrum of quite literally the human experience and how sometimes we're our own worst enemy. So it's, as you can tell, I've been enjoying it.
I'm excited to read it. I'm like,
I got 45 minutes left, and I've been trying to get through it fast because I'm like listening to it at like 1.5 times speed. But I be locked in when she be saying stuff, and I be like, man, that is good.
What's the biggest epiphany that you've gotten for yourself from the book so far? Well, you say you got 45 minutes left, so you basically
I done got a lot of them. Some specifically for me, some not necessarily for me. Some things, it's giving me a different level of empathy for people. It's allowed me to be able to see people a little bit differently. For example, I think I shared one with you yesterday, and I forgot how she broke it down. But she was saying in the book. Let me bring it back because it was a bar. It was a bar.
Bring it back. When we were on the Stairmaster, right?
Yeah, we was on the Stairmaster, and I think I had. No, I don't think we were there.
No, when was it?
Let me at least reference it.
Because that's the only time we had a really like good conversation.
Oh, that was it. Because I had to stop the book.
Yeah.
And I had to like leave off on it like right there.
Yeah.
Dang, what was I telling you? Because it was dope.
I remember the gist of what you were telling me.
Okay, bring it back.
You were basically telling me that we will vilify.
Yeah, yeah.
You got it. You gonna take it?
So in the book, and I'm gonna probably mask it, but I'm gonna work through it. She was talking about like how if we desire something for long enough, what we will do is if we don't end up getting that thing, accomplishing it, having that experience, whatever the case may be, we will vilify those who have it as a means of protecting ourselves and bringing ourselves back into a state of being comfortable. Because if we can't have that thing or we're not experiencing it, the only way we can feel safe, so to say, is to look down on that thing and other people and those that have it or are experiencing that thing, which is why people project. It's like, for example, you've wanted to have a marriage or a happy, successful relationship for so long, but you haven't had that thing. And so because you haven't experienced it and so long has gone by, now in order to have peace and safety inside of yourself, it causes some people to look down on it, to vilify others who do experience as a means of quite literally their bodies and their minds trying to protect them and make them feel safe again by looking at this thing that they want as the enemy.
Right.
And I was just like,
that's so good.
That's crazy. But then it goes deeper because she followed that up to say that what happens is when people do eventually experience that thing, they will self-sabotage because they vilified it for so long. Now they can't even appreciate it when they get it because they've created this frame around it that makes them literally consume those negative feelings and that vilifying that they did. They consume it. And now it's like they can't have it because this thing is real because they've made it the enemy. It's like now it's like, you're not really faithful to me. I can't really have no successful relationship. I can't actually be rich or wealthy. I can't actually stay in shape because eventually I'm gonna fall off. All of this stuff. Like you start living and being what the monster you created, quite literally.
Yeah.
As a mean of getting back into being safe, even though you wanted this thing. So, man, yeah, that was a heat round right there. I was like, wow, because it makes me think about, we've been verbally attacked online, God knows how many times for all types of different things or whatever. And it just gives me a different level of understanding. I'm just like, dang, I really feel bad for you because they always go, well, my experiences or what I saw, or this is what's happened to me, or my truth, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, okay, well, you've dealt with that for so long now. Now, anybody that's experiencing the thing that you desire, you have to look at them as the enemy in order to make you feel safe.
Right.
And that is sad.
It is.
But it is human.
Yeah.
It's so human, and it's probably completely unconscious and uncontrollable. And people just slide into that on accident because they didn't want to be there because they desired the outcome.
Right.
They just didn't get it. And so their bodies naturally had to respond some kind of way. And so
I think that's why it's important to be very self-aware because like you said, it's uncontrollable, but I don't think that's true. I think it is controllable. I think you just have to be aware enough to know that that is what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Not even meaning uncontrollable, but it's like it can happen so naturally. But you have to be self-aware to say like, hey, you know what? This is just a feeling or a thought, but it's not true. It's just I'm having this feeling because of XYZ.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it's actually true.
Right.
And I can ignore my feelings or my thoughts. But that takes a high level of self-awareness.
Yeah, and I think it's so important for us to challenge our feelings and our thoughts. Like, all of our feelings and thoughts are not true. You shouldn't believe everything that you think or feel. So it's important for you to say, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now. Why am I feeling this way? And dissect that thing. This is what I think. And why do I think this about this? Why do I feel this way about this thing? That's one thing I love about you. Like, you've challenged your thoughts, like, for as long as I've known you. And that's something I learned how to do because of you. So I'm like, bro, why do you be analyzing what you think so much? Like, when we first got together, like, why do you think like that? And because your process is pretty lengthy. Like, it's gotten shorter, like, as you've gotten older and you've perfected your process. But I'm like, dang, like, I never thought to think to think about my thoughts and like why I think this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that in itself is dope. And I think more people need to do that and be like, why do I feel this way about whatever the thing is? Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy enough, she actually got a whole section of the book where she goes in on that exact same thing or whatever about just being able to identify our thoughts and just observe them and like let them keep going. And also like processing them. Like you can feel and experience your emotions, but still not be consumed by them because sometimes you need to process those emotions, let them have their impact on you or whatever the case may be. So that way you don't harbor those feelings in and you can like just, because that energy got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And you can process those things and get rid of it. Yeah. But to your other point though, like challenging your thoughts is definitely a developed superpower that probably came about in a way that I don't even know. But it made me more aware of it when we started doing the show and posting content or whatever, because I quite literally got 300-400 notes in my phone of just thoughts, different things that I wrote out. And it's like, wrote out.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wrote out. But yeah, like even with a freaking caption, like I'm about to put something up on Instagram. I'll write something out and then I'll get the raw version out and then I'll read over it 2-3 times and I'm like, is this how I wanted to say this? Is this what I actually mean and what I feel? Could I say this another way to where it comes off better? You know what I mean? And it can quite literally take me 3-4 hours a day, sometimes 2, to come up with a caption. Especially like when I wanted to portray something or to be able to articulate a message a certain way of something that I'm really working through, thinking about, or have lived through, and I want to be able to share it effectively. And sometimes just because it might be something I'm feeling in the moment, I'm like, is this real though? Like, is this true? I had a real controversial video that I was gonna make at one point in time, and I can't remember exactly what it was because I was reading over it. I think yesterday I saw it on my phone.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but as I was reading over it, I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't make this video. Because I probably would have felt it like that day or two. But in hindsight, now looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I ain't make this video. Because me today would have been like, nah, Trone, that was a miss. And then the sad part is that I would have put it up and there would have been so many people that would have been rocking with it. Like, but quite honestly, there's content that's up to date that has that same impact. But like, like we grow, we change, we evolve and different things like that because that's this human experience.
Yeah. And that's something we were talking about on maybe a couple episodes ago is like, it's okay for you to grow. Like we've said things in the past that we don't completely agree with now. Like we wouldn't do those things now because we've grown from that. You know what I mean? And that's okay. And I think so many people are embarrassed to do that.
Yeah.
It's like to show that you leveled up from that. And that's okay. Like that's a part of the human condition. You should be growing. You should be finding ways to be better at whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Like the way we communicated when we first started the show, I didn't like how I communicated on the show. Like I felt, well, Plus, I was like nervous and afraid and all that stuff.
All the stuff.
But it was a lot, you know. But I didn't like how I was communicating on the show. But it's like, should I not have posted that stuff because I was afraid or because I didn't like how I did it? It's like, no, now I can look back and other people can look back and see, wow, Adoria has grown. Adoria really speaks more. She really speaks her mind now. You know what I'm saying? And she doesn't hold back. So I'm glad that we still posted a lot of that stuff. And I'm glad we decided not to take it down and be like, you know, it's okay for people to look back and see the growth from that, you know?
And that's the thing about literally growing through the process, because you could sit over there and hyper analyze everything or whatever and then do nothing.
Right.
But the opportunity to grow actually comes into doing. And even sometimes, you know, like when you decide to do things in public, like be it the show, the content we post, whatever the case may be, like you open yourself up, you know, to criticism, feedback, all of those different types of things. But that's how you learn in real time. And a lot of people, what they don't grow as fast as they could because they resist feedback and criticism and different things like that. Because sometimes what we do is we look at all of those things as being an attack on our beliefs, our character, whatever the case may be. And then sometimes, like, that's people's intentions, unfortunately. But as a person, as the individual, what you can do is you can dictate how you choose to feel about those things. And you can be like, hey, you know what? Do I actually feel this way about whatever this is? Do I actually believe this thing? Did they make a point that's better than my point? Were they able to get some additional information or understanding or whatever beyond what I have to make me challenge or question my own beliefs? Are they right? Am I just speaking from a place of being worked up, high emotions? I had one bad experience and I branded a whole segment of people or experiences or whatever a certain type of way. And it's not necessarily the most easiest thing to deal with, but it's very useful. If you can look at it as being just that, like criticism and feedback, but not looking at it as being an attack on yourself and your character. Because even the people that do that on purpose, they got their own problems.
Yeah.
But you can make that useful if you choose to. And that comes with being self-aware, like you said.
Yeah. And you could choose whether to receive it or to not. Like you choose whether something is like quality feedback or quality, you know, criticism. Because there's a difference between somebody just on your stuff talking ish on your stuff. You know what I mean? And somebody actually having valid points about what your content is. But shoot, I think like even before getting to that point, I think people are afraid to even try because they're afraid of what anyone will say anyway. Like nobody's even said anything to them yet, but they won't try because they have these hypothetical thoughts or scenarios of what people might say about what they think. And I know this for a fact because I have a lot of women who are in my DMs and they're like, you started doing your podcast with your husband and I think it's so dope and all that stuff. And they're like, I want to do it too. I'm like, do it. Like, just do it. And they'll say they're afraid of, you know, how people will perceive them and what, you know, and how they think and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, it's sometimes people need to hear other perspectives. Who cares if it's right or wrong? Does it work for you and how you're living? Absolutely. People might see our marriage and they be like, well, that's not going to work for me. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to work for us because it has worked for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for people to share their perspectives on things, especially if it's adding value to whatever.
And that's real, man. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's easier said than done. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Been there.
It's so much easier said than done because it's like, you could say like, hey, jump, go do this thing or whatever. Just suck it up and just go for it or whatever. And you still gonna have to grow through that process. But the thing is like, at least when you go for it, you give yourself the opportunity to grow through it. And that's what you need. Because you're going to go through those moments, you know, like, yeah, people gonna say some flip stuff. Yeah, you might misspeak. You might do a whole bunch of different things.
You might be human.
Exactly, right? All of these different things, whatever. And you will learn to grow through it.
Yeah.
Because that's going to help shape you and mold you into the person that you need to be in order to continue with whatever it is. And just realizing too, well, you know, something that we had to realize is like, the people we're called to serve and that honor what we have to say and all of that different stuff, like they're gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like those people are gonna be there. And the people that don't, like, they'll find their way along somewhere else.
Yeah.
They'll critique and do all this other stuff or whatever. Freaking no name 37 with no picture. Following 1,600 people with 0 posts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but that's just the nature of the beast, man. Humans humaning.
Yeah, and that's why I think, again, it goes back to my point where I think people should try.
Yeah, go for it anyway.
Just try. Like, especially because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Like, even when we started our show, we didn't know what was going to happen. You have to try and give yourself a chance and see what'll happen. You know, people create these negative hypothetical situations about stuff that hasn't even happened yet. How you future pacing on negative stuff?
You get better, man. I'll tell you that.
Listen, I be catching it. I be catching it.
We'll talk a lot about that too, so you're going to enjoy that.
But yeah, so like you're future pacing negative things. And I don't, like, we've done it. Like, so I know like what it's like. And I mean, I've done that with fitness also. Like, but it's like, just give yourself a shot. Just give yourself a chance and like see what happens.
It's like the word says, be anxious about nothing. Because you're using present energy, you know, for a perceived future problem. And that's, like you say, is something that even to this day, still actively have to overcome.
Have to fight.
And you have to be aware of it and be like, dang, I'm doing it again. But I cut it out, chill. Yeah. This is what I'm doing to myself. Let me give myself the shot. Let me give myself a chance and do it anyway.
Yes.
Because, man, in the book, she talks about, you know, like how anytime we're trying to make change, our body's natural response is to go back, is to resist it because change makes you feel unsafe. Yeah. Because your body and your mind quite literally does not know what to do to keep you safe. And we're hardwired for comfort. So it's like, hey, you're about to make this bold change, this big move or whatever. And everything about who you are saying, don't do it. This is unsafe. Even if the potential outcome can be ridiculously positive, it's still new. And new is unsafe.
Yeah.
And so you still have to fight and force your way through those things or whatever to where your body and your mind can be able to identify it and say like, hey, you know what? This won't kill me. Which is why, like, even going through therapy years ago, you go through what they call exposure therapy. It's the way you have to put yourself in a situation for your mind to be able to get into this space to say, hey, this didn't kill me. I'm okay. This didn't hurt me. I can go into this environment. I can do this thing. I can start this new venture, whatever the case may be. And no matter what happens, good or bad, it didn't kill me. I am safe.
Right.
And over time, it starts to remove the weight of what that is and that in your body and your mind's like reaction to trying to pull you back into comfort. See, man, listen, this book is
good. I'm ready.
It took me there.
Can you hurry up?
By the time I get out the gym tomorrow, I'll be done with the book. You'll be able to do your thing. You'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
So I started on cardio then.
Yeah. Sure. Right. I ain't gonna lie though. I am definitely gonna buy it though, because I feel like I gotta go back and highlight some stuff. I gotta make some content about it. Like I'm like, yo, this is big game changer. And it's crazy because it's been in my wish list for I don't know how long. But
what made you get it though? Like what made you?
You know what? So the title itself, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but I know it's about overcoming self-sabotage. And because we're in this season right now where a lot of good stuff is happening. And, you know, we've been calling this our quantum leap year. And just realizing that me personally, I've always had this natural tendency to attempt to try to self-sabotage. And it's one of those things like with self-awareness, you have to know more about that thing that holds you back. And so it's like, if I'm expecting a big leap this year, if we're expecting all of this change, we're anticipating all of these great things, Also understanding that a lot of the times, if not most of the time, if not 100% of the time, we're always our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
And we can try to pull ourselves back into old habits, old patterns, and different things.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, for one, this mug got a gang of 5-star reviews. That's a good, that's a plus.
Yeah.
It's talking about self-sabotage. I'm like, all right, hey, we in this season of getting ready to take this leap. I know I can be my own worst enemy. Mm-hmm. Let me check this thing out and see if it can tool me up to where I can be able to better identify when particular things like that in myself might show up. Mm-hmm. And I can get myself together, reel myself back in, and keep going anyway and stop doing that. Right. And again, I need to tool up to be able to stop myself from self-sabotaging as we're getting ready to jump. Yeah. Because we've been doing a lot of growth. Mm-hmm. And I refuse to take a step back. Interesting thing too.
Okay.
So she was talking about, like how we talk about like epiphanies and people talking about how you have like breakthroughs or whatever. Mm-hmm. She was talking about in the book, when you're looking to make those drastic changes in your life to overcome self-sabotage, all of these things, it's never one big thing. Okay. It's never like, oh, this is the book that changed my life. Mm-hmm. Or I heard this person and it completely reshaped everything or whatever. Mm-hmm. What happens is it's a whole bunch of small, seemingly undetected small things that you did over time that compounded, creating change inside of you. Mm-hmm. For example, it's not the fact that like one day you heard this thing about running and you hopped up and you ran a marathon. It was the day that you decided to go for that 5-minute walk. Mm. And then after that 5-minute walk for so many days, eventually you was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to run to the end of this street. Mm. And then it progresses and it snowballs. And next thing you know, you're running a marathon and you can't even remember how you got to that point of running a marathon. And you look up one day and you were like, I'm not actually a runner. I'm not actually like all of this stuff, but I can do this thing. Yeah. And you realize you can do this thing completely discounting all of those seemingly small steps that you thought didn't matter. Mm-hmm. And then that one day comes where you make this decision that seemingly changes everything. But what you don't realize is that, that was just that last step. Mm. But you've been incrementally doing these one steps over time. And then you got to that next one. And that's when you were able to make the shift. But it wasn't the big thing. Mm. It was everything that happened before it.
That's so good. And who you became in the process.
Exactly.
Because now you were ready to receive whatever that is, You
became the person over time through the incremental steps.
That's so good. That's real.
Yeah, so she goes in on that. Get the book.
I'm ready to read it.
Book is hard.
Hurry up. Finish it tonight.
Girl, whatever.
I'm just kidding. What time is it? It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we got to do other things. But yeah, man, it's amazing. It is definitely a game changer. I'm going to have to buy the hard copy. Look, I'm a bookseller's best customer. Like, yeah. Because I'm getting the
audio book and the hard copy.
And I'm going to get the hard copy.
Yeah.
I usually the audio is it lets me know if I want to get the hard copy.
Yeah, I usually like to read hard copy books because I like the smell of a book. I'm weird. But I think I actually want to listen to this book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can just like keep playing it back, when those moments hit. Like, oh, that was good. Let me replay this.
Yeah, it's a bar.
Yeah. The whole book is a bar.
The whole book is bars. Okay. Big bars. Crazy. But do you got any closing thoughts, my love?
I don't. This was a good conversation. I didn't know we were going to talk about this.
I had no clue.
But this is a good conversation. I'm glad we did. You just got me hyped for the book, which I already was. So I'm just ready.
Yeah.
You've primed me for the book.
Yeah. I think it's going to be right on time. Again, for this season that we're stepping into.
Especially because my thing lately has been limiting beliefs. I've been heavy on that lately. Because I had so many limiting beliefs stopping me from reaching the level of fitness that I am right now. And like realizing now, like, bro, that was really holding me back. And it took me so long to get here because I was allowing my beliefs or the fact that I'm supposed to be thick, or I'm black, or it's not in my family, it ain't in my genes. Like I was allowing so many things to like hold me back from reaching this level of fitness. And it's like, dang, like I know I'm not alone in this because I have other women who will come to me and say, well, I feel like I'm supposed to be thick too. I'm supposed to be bigger. Who told you that?
Who made that up?
Who told you that? Just because you ain't seen it in your family don't mean you can't be the one.
And you just got to a point to where you just started to confirm it.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah, you just accepted it. So let's fix that.
And all limiting beliefs is like it's just a mental decision. It's mental self-sabotage.
It is. It is. So that's why I'm excited to read this book so I can learn more about it and how I can help my sisterhood
it's gonna be on you.
Overcome this thing because some of them are really stuck. And I'm like, I know what it's like to be stuck. I was there and I came, this far. So it's possible. So I'm excited. I'm ready.
It's gonna do some stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna do some stuff.
It's gonna break some chains, as they say.
Come on. I'm ready.
Hey man, I hope y'all enjoyed the episode. This was definitely a goodie. Definitely a goodie. But y'all know what it is, family. Until next time.
Wait.
What?
You didn't say like, comment.
Man, listen.
Wait, do you say the names first or what do you be saying first?
Can I do my thing?
Oh.
Please?
You got it.
I got it.
Okay. Hey, listen. I be trying to monitor your patterns. So I'm like, dang, because one day I'm gonna be the one that says it. So I'm like, what's your pattern? So when you do it differently, I'm like,
yeah.
But anyway, go ahead. You do your thing.
Spontaneous.
You do your thing. You do it how you want to.
If y'all enjoyed the episode today, please do like, comment, and subscribe. If you listen to us on your favorite podcast and platform, please rate the episode. Let us know what you thought about it. All of those good things, man. My name is John Trone. This is my beautiful queen.
Adoria.
Yes, that is her name. That is my love, my helpmate, helpmeets, all of those things. We are one dope couple family. Until next time, peace and love.